Hi, today's video is a video essay, and I have never done a video essay on this channel, I don't think. Hopefully, this video will, help to grow my channel more, and hopefully I can make more videos in the future. So if you're interested in that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video. Today's video, like I said, is a video essay. And today we're going to be talking about a show pictured here. You may remember it. And some people probably looked up the show's name and probably found this video. And if you're interested in video essays of this show, then this one's for you. Somebody also made a video about this show about a year ago, so I'll leave their video down below, and make sure to check this video out. So today's video is going to be a deep dive into Supernoobs, as this year's November 2nd was this show's 10-year anniversary. December 7th marks 10 years since the show first aired in the United States. In 2016 will be 10 years since the show aired all around the world. So, internationally on Cartoon Network. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Supernoobs is a Canadian animated comedy TV series which was created by Scott Fellows. You've heard of his name before because he created Johnny Test. Produced by DHX Media, which has since been rebranded to Wild Brain. It was created for Cartoon Network and Teletoon, which is long gone now. It's now Canada's Cartoon Network now. Like I said, it was the show's 10-year anniversary is November. But the UK and Ireland got the show first. The first 13 episodes first aired in that country. Before its 2015 premiere, the show was announced on August 12, 2014. It was picked up by Teletoon and Cartoon Network internationally. Like I said, in the United States, December 7th, 2015, was when the United States got the show. And like I said, the show premiered in the United States, and December 7th is the 10th anniversary of when the US got Supernoobs. Right after the 18th episode, the show went on a 7-month break. And after the 7-month break, 8 more episodes aired in the US. And then it went on another break with Happy Nooboween in October 2016, as they believed that it was the right time to air the episode following the Halloween season. And then another break of the show happened, well, it lasted until December 2016, where we got a handful of episodes. However, it was up until the Noobs vs. the Sour Persimmons when the show suddenly disappeared from the US Cartoon Network, never mentioned again or never acknowledged again. And yeah, right after the show suddenly vanished, it basically became forgotten by not only Cartoon Network, but people too. Well, on November 1st, 2017, 6 episodes of the show first made its way onto Hulu in the United States, though they were uploaded on YouTube prior to that. According to TV Tropes, this show was barely popular in Canada. However, in the US, people hated it. It was hated when it was released. My theories is that I think that's probably the reason why the show probably got forgotten by Cartoon Network and people, I think it's because of the people didn't like this show. If you look up the show, it sits at a 3 on IMDb. Now, let me be honest with you. I do not trust IMDb for reasons. Well, let's just say it's just the false information on IMDb. Despite this, however, the show did manage to get fans around when the show premiered. It did have some fans. Well, yes, it did have some fans in the United States, but the show had more fans in the Philippines, in Asia. If you look up the show, you'll see there are fans of the show from Asia. Heck, Europe has fans of this show too. On January 11th, 2018, it was announced that the show will get a second season, and the second season wouldn't be airing on Teletoon. It would be airing on Family Channel, which is also long gone. Season 2 also aired in Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and parts in Africa too. Unlike Canada, it still remained on Cartoon Network. Season 2 also aired on Cartoon Network. Season 2, according to Wikipedia, was also on Hulu in the US. And I know a lot of you guys in the comments are going to say, why are you using Wikipedia? It's not a reliable source. Well, it did state that in the article, Hulu did add season 2 to the show in the United States. Though season 2 was uploaded to YouTube by a YouTuber who has since closed his account in the US during the time it was premiering, and the uploader was Canadian. Yeah, after 2 seasons, the latest episode aired on February 7th, 2019, and since then we haven't heard anything from the show. Well, besides vanishing off of Hulu a few years later. Though after the show, suddenly vanished after season 2, or ended after season 2, Scottfellows went on to work on the Johnny Test revival that aired in 2021 on Netflix. Though it did end on early 2022, and right after that, we haven't heard from Scottfellows ever since. In different countries, the show went by a different name, so it's pictured right there. And in German, it's translated to Superheroes by Accident. Though this might not be accurate, but when I translated it from Hungarian to English, it translates to Green-Eared on the Move. If you're Hungarian, please tell me if this is accurate, because I just want to make sure. Okay, let's talk characters. Tyler Bowman, who is the holder of the blue battle ball. The blue battle ball is used for many things, but most specifically, teleportation, telepathy, and mind control. So his weaknesses, his powers aren't offensive in nature, which constantly forces him to rely on weaponry, specifically the blaster. His willpower reflects his effectiveness as the leader of the team. Having him in a negative emotion state could likely put his team in jeopardy. Ah yes, I forgot, he is the leader of the team. As the leader of the team, he's a quick thinker and always wants to make sure that he and his friends are working as a team. He can be very socially awkward, but he doesn't let that affect him. He wants to find ways for them to be the best warriors. And in the series, if you have watched the show, you know that he wants to win over Amy Anderson's heart. Kevin Reynolds, the owner of the Red Battle Ball. The Red Battle Ball is to shapeshift into animals. He has weaknesses, specifically his limited time of shape-shifting abilities are his primary weakness, as he can only transform into things that he has seen or understood, as he cannot transform into any animals in the space zoo, like in one episode. A weakness he has is that his battle ball is a malfunctioning battle ball. If you've seen the show, then you may know that in one episode he did turn into a dog. His battle ball was malfunctioned and only had 3 hours to fix it, which was a success. Kevin is very adventurous. He is basically ready for anything, though he can come across as quite cowardly, very outspoken, very carefree. His interests: he loves video games, paintball, and pizza. Though he is very selfish and irresponsible, it is one of the most of the noobs. This is because he likes to use his battle ball for his amusement and for personal gain, and make suggestions that may not work. And it's shown that he has very poor decisions in making skills. Jennifer Shope, also known as Shope by her friends, but she's known by her first name Jennifer by adults. Owner of the purple battle ball, where you can control the environment around the weather, but you can control her too. Powers include enhanced durability. It's a power where she can sustain numerous blows. Elemental manipulation, where you can control several elements like wind, lightning, and water, and use her hands to create tornadoes underneath her to help her quickly to get far locations over the short period of time. Weaknesses include her strengths lying in her intelligence and quick thinking, yet her weakness lie mostly in her tendencies to be very stubborn, and because of this, it can create problems on the battlefield. A certain tendency to think before acting could cause enemies to add upper hand on herself and her friends. Obviously, she's the only female of the Snoobs, and she's quite tomboyish, as you can tell by her interest if you've seen the show or what she's mostly interested in. So she's a very smart member of the group. She's very timid at times, but she likes to stand up for herself and her friends as needed. And like I said, she thinks before she has, unlike her friends. And it's been showing a lot of times in the show. Fyodor Roachpont, nicknamed Doroch, or Roach. And he's called Fyodor by adults, just like Shope. Owner of the green battle ball, which gives the elastic powers: flight power, super strength, pocket fists, and intelligent mode. His weakness: well, he has abilities to carry very heavy things and have a flexible body, as well as a ability to fly. Though he has to take the beatings out of the rest of his friends, as this means he has to do a lot of physical combat, and has a hard time paying attention and gets very distracted way too much during battles. And he can get very exhausted if he's being pushed too much or he's being hurt. And his battle ball can become malfunctioned just like Kevin's. Roach, he's very fragile. Though he doesn't have many manners. Though he's so loyal and wants to help his friends. Although he can become so silly. Though he has a very vast vocabulary of words, he's not very selfish. Well, not a lot of selfishness. And he's super innocent. Thing about his personality, he does not like being taken advantage of, like in one episode. The show also follows two aliens, Nenblock, also known as Zen, and Memblock, Mem. Mem Blocker. Mem. Yes, as an experienced virus warrior, he has access to a widespread variety of special powers and abilities in his disposal. And most of his powers are the same as Zen's powers, which we'll get into. He has the green battle ball. He can use the powers from Tyler, Kevin, and Roach, but he cannot use Shope's. Elastic powers? Having a body that is capable of sustaining and resisting multiple injuries and wounds. Teleportation, shape-shifting, super strength, telekinesis, and aquatic respiration. Yes, he is a trainer, but he has weaknesses. More specifically, his weaknesses is that he does have widespread range of battle ball abilities, but he can only use one at a time. And he needs to ally with Zen, because if he doesn't ally with Zen, this will leave the noobs to suffer alone. And this is when they have to battle out with virus beasts or Count Venomous. His personality, which we'll get into in a minute, often gets him from not doing very important things, as he can get distracted from doing really important things, as this is the state of being responsible for something, which is him helping out the noobs, and in any negative emotions as he displays could negatively impact him in the battle. Mem is very easy on the noobs, and he loves cooking. In one episode, he seems to obsess over cooking. He is very nice to the noobs, very sweet and naive, and he is fascinated with the earth, like in a very childlike. Because he's so fascinated, this could distract him from helping out the noobs, and Zen does this too. And yes, he can be selfish too. Such maturity is shown, childish-like behavior is shown. Here's what Mem looks like in his human form. He's known as Bob. Zen Blocker Zen. He speaks in an Austrian accent, and his accent is based off of somebody you may know. Just like Mem, he has the green battle ball, and he's also an experienced warrior. Water powers, just like what I mentioned for Mem. Teleportation, telekinesis, super strength, shrinking, shape-shifting, elastic powers, chemical manipulation. Yes, as a strong warrior capable of taking down many foes, his weakness mainly lies on his mental psyche and relationships with other people. He's known to be very reckless and manipulative whenever he's not in a fight, or if he's in the fight, he has a lot of trouble working others. Those people include Mem. This can prove to be a liability because it is very hard for them to work in teamwork. And he seems to have a mean and a serious personality, for he is not that much nice. Despite this, he means well by caring about Mem and the noobs, though they have to do some troublesome things. He is considered to be the brawn of the duo, and he often lets his fist to do the talking and is ready for a fight. His manly is indicated through his timbre. It's shown that he often says or does things without thinking first. He says that there is nothing that people can do to change his mind, but however, he does it to change his mind. He has very low patience, and he can get easily annoyed, frustrated, or embarrassed whenever the noobs are doing something selfish or stupid to him and them. Because of his childish-like behavior, he is shown to be selfish as the noobs. He is capable of getting mad at the drop of a hat. Apparently, it's shown that he likes to tease people, especially the noobs, and especially Mem. He can be crude and obnoxious sometimes. Like in one episode during their argument, he called him like a lot of bad names. Keep in mind, he did this around Tyler, Shope, Kevin, and the Roach, the Supernoobs, while he used the word noob as an insult towards their experience in being the virus warrior. He is very sarcastic and uses sarcastic threats towards the noobs. One episode explains it all. In a few episodes, he has a soft spot that's shown, like protecting the noobs from the virus-affected T-Rex skeleton. Yes, he can be very mature and childish as Mem, in which he can very react in the childish glee when he mentions the space Monroe. Here's Mem in his human form. He's known as Rob. And meet the society to take out the virus, XI4TI. XR4TI is a tablet that's seen as the voice of the reason and on board of the Galacticus and has a lot of wisdom and courage. She shows like a mother-like, childlike relationship with both Memizen and the noobs, as she wants them to be both successful in their missions and keep them safe whenever she can. She can be very frustrated at times whenever the noobs are being responsible or Memizen being immature and their childlike behavior. In addition to that, she's frustrated because over the fact that she's a computer assistant, she doesn't have much power to act or do a lot of stuff on her own. And she has a very calm voice and very smoothing, no matter what kind of situation it is, whenever the noobs are being responsible or the immature behavior behind Memizen. Okay, now quick question. What was your favorite character and what was your favorite noob? And what was you like about them or their powers? Let me know in the comment section down below. And here are the Supernoobs and their battle suits. You can tell which one who is who. Okay, let's talk about the character. I think here I'm gonna be observing, or if you can call it observing, I don't know. And here I'm gonna observe like the character designs and stuff. You know what? Let's study the details. Pictured here is Tyler wearing a green shirt, his signature green shirt. And there are sleeves. You know, people wore these like 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Seeing that the show came out in 2015, it seemed like they never went out of style. Here's the full body image of him. See, he's wearing like shorts along with white socks and black sneakers. This is like an outfit for a 2010s show. As you may see, Tyler does have some clips on his hair, so bobby pins. This is the kind of bobby pins he has on his hair. This looks very much alike. I think when I was little, I may have seen boys wear bobby pins, and that's what I learned, that girls don't only wear bobby pins, it's boys too. Speaking of his hair, he has blonde, shaggy hair. These things are like back in style. Now Kevin here has a black hoodie. He did rip off the sleeve in one episode pictured here. And zoomed in here, it's been stitched right back, which is why it does have stitches. He wouldn't have that in later episodes, though I do kind of wish they kept it. He has never removed his hoodie in the show, but here in this episode, we see that he has a blank gray shirt. His outfit, it seems like it's a baggy outfit, if you could call it baggy. Baggy or oversized outfits were quite common and popular in the 2010s, most particularly in the mid to late part of the decade. So it makes sense for him to wear stuff like that, especially for a 2015 cartoon. It's obvious he has black curly hair, but when I try to pick up the color, it's dark blue. I mean, it does make sense since that you can see the spots on his hair. And of course, he has braces. Him having braces really fits his personality. This is definitely a conversation that I want to see in the comments, but I think the creators added braces into him so that it could go well with his personality, like I said. This is also a conversation that I want to see, but I think the reason why they put braces on him is because they want to make him like really relatable to the kids who also have braces. So yeah, I think this is all I can observe. And for sure, I really like her design. The headband, the sweater, the skirt, and the leggings. They're really good. Very 2010s, like for a 2015 cartoon. Though this fashion trend has been around a bit longer than the 2010s. It's actually been around since the late 2000s. And for the polo shirt and the sweater were very common back then. Again, this trend was long term. Her shoes, though, you cannot see her shoes in this picture, but they're good. They go well with her outfit. They're it. The red glasses is definitely something that I never seen in a cartoon before, though most of them are black, but this sure is black. Don't get me wrong, I like black glasses, but I want to see colorful ones like hers. And Roach, obviously, we can't see his eyes. Okay, so tell me that I am not the only one here, but when I was little, I always wondered what his eyes look like when he doesn't have them covered. Though I did assume that he did have green eyes because of his gingery hair and freckles. Here in this picture, he's just wearing sunglasses. We can't see his eyes, obviously. Where did this picture come from, you may ask? Well, this is a picture from the long version of the theme song. And yes, if you haven't watched the show in a long time, there is a long version of the theme song. Or you may know about the long version of the theme song. I'll link the channel down below and you should find that video. Okay, so why did I think he has green eyes, then black eyes? Because cartoon characters have black eyes. Yes, in case if they do reveal his eyes, which is probably never, he'll probably have black eyes. If this is something that you want to talk about, please let me know in the comments. He wears a turtleneck, which in the series, which is very obvious because he never seems to take it off. Here, in this picture, he doesn't seem to take off the sweater. They did not mention this at all in the series, but I think this is some sort of running gag, or he just wants to wear his sweater and not show his neck. And yes, because Roach has really big curly hair, his hair is like the easiest spot to hide stuff. As you can see right here, his two front crooked teeth show when his mouth is closed. Mem and Zen. Here they are in their human forms, Bob and Rob. I'm sure everyone else noticed this, but they look a lot like the Pratt brothers. You know, Martin and Chris Pratt. See, they look alike. No one can tell me otherwise. I don't know if Mem and Zen are a couple or brothers. The show has not said anything about that. Also, the ending with Mem block and Zen block sound exactly the same. Now that I've talked about the details, let's talk about the concept art. Yes, like all shows, this has concept art, which I will show you right now. And here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, before we got what we got, there was this. As you can see right here, the characters look so much different than now. I know what you're thinking, where's Shope? Well, this is a very good question. Before we got Shope, there was this. Listen, I don't know if this character got gender bent into Shope or got replaced by Shope. As you can see on the screen, the designer's name is Dave McDougall. And as you can see on the date, it was posted on February 27th, 2014. Some of you guys may know this, some of you guys may not know this, but Dave McDougall is an animator who worked for Nature Cat. This was on blogger.com and he posted not too long ago. Since he's still active on his blogger, I don't know if he does Q&A, questions or answers, but this is something to definitely ask him. Was this boy gender bent to Shope or was he replaced by Shope? And this is something we may or may not never know. Though if we know actually if this boy got gender bent into Shope or got replaced by Shope, this is something to definitely let me know in the comments. Also, when I was doing research, I also found out that they are versions of this of Mem and Zen, as you can see right here. But those were not on Dave McDougall's blog. But it was posted by Mickey McDougall. Mickey McDougall is also an animator. According to IMDb, he's worked on Total Drama All-Stars, Creative Galaxy, and GarageBand. Though this art was posted in 2014, or it could have been done a little longer than that, it didn't last long. Because when the show was picked up in 2014, we ended up getting this instead. Yep, a certain boy we were just talking about was gone. Like, gone, like he wasn't there anymore. And this left us with two conclusions. He got replaced by Shope or he got gender bent into Shope. Again, we have to ask the designers, even Dave McDougall, about the boy. What happened to him? I don't know if they might respond to this or if they have an answer, but we know they did the designs. But yeah, at some point he was planned and he existed and he was there and one day he was gone. But yeah, this is something you guys can discuss in the comments. But yeah, guys, before the show was born in 2015, there was a rejected boy character. Some people that are fans of the show and some that aren't probably already know this already. In case if you didn't know, well, you know now that there was a rejected boy character. I mean, it's always good to learn something new every day, right? Okay, so I talked about the main characters, the details, and the concept art. I don't think this deep dive video will be complete with me talking about the other characters in the show. So let's get into it. This is Amy Anderson. This is the girl who Tyler has a crush on. Tyler, he can be very awkward towards her and he lacks confidence. However, she still likes him despite all of this. As you guessed it, she's a very lovely person and likes to help people. And she's very popular, but she's not a mean girl. Jock Jockerson, yes, as you can tell by his name and appearance, he is a bully, a school bully. As a bully, he is obviously very self-centered, meaning he only cares about himself, and he likes to bully the Supernoobs. Yes, he is one of those popular mean boys. Jock likes sports, most particularly football. If you remember the first episode, or have seen the first episode, he's the first human to be affected by the virus. Principal Warhammer, I may have butchered that name. Yeah, she's obviously the principal of the middle school, Cornbury Middle School. She's quite strict too. She wants to find out what the Supernoobs are really hiding. She speaks in like this Canadian accent or Wisconsin accent, whatever. Though she's not always harsh and strict, she can be friendly with the noobs too. Count Venomous, the show's main antagonist. Nothing has not been known about his past during his career as a galactic supervillain. Nobody has not been able to trace or find any information about his lifetime. If you have seen this show, or at least remember this show, then you'll know the episodes that have Count Venomous. He'll do anything to get rid of the Supernoobs, and at the end, this would not be a successful, it will be a failure. The virus creators, the primary antagonist. As you can see, they are known to have 6 eyes. And yes, they do work with Count Venomous. The virus creators do not speak English. They understand alien language. They are the virus creators, not the virus creator. They are more likely not one person because of this. And yes, the virus creators created Count Venomous. I don't know if we should count this as a character. It's called the Benevolent Alliance. What they do is to discuss on how to defeat the virus and to make sure the universe is in peace. The leader is General Blorgan. The other 2 pictured there are the secretaries. I might mispronounce their names, but bear with me. Nut and Hades. Please let me know in the comments if I pronounce their names right. All 3 of them are known as the Elders. And this lady, Sue Newswoman. As her name states, she is a news reporter, frequently reporting for Channel 7. Not much is known about her outside of her job. And the science teacher, Mr. Words. He witnesses aliens existing and he becomes very paranoid. And of course, as a science teacher, he has become the mad scientist and invented goggles to control the students. He knows about the virus and has went too far by modifying it and consuming it himself so he can gain powers from it. He became obsessed with exposing the Supernoobs, exposing Mem and Zen, and tried to get their location by their Earth house. It got the news involved, and he ended up getting sent to a mental institution. And for the other characters, I thought why not talk about their parents? This is Tyler's mom. Not much is known about her, but we heard her voice in one episode, though she did make an appearance in a later episode in season 1. Where is Tyler's dad, you may ask? My best guess is that they are divorced. She's single, or maybe his dad passed away, we don't know. But what we know is that he has never been mentioned in the show or seen ever. And I guess that this is something that could be turned into a conversation in the comments. I mean, it explains why her name is Miss Bowman instead of Mrs. Bowman. I put her first because we heard her voice first. Shope's parents. They are the first parents of one of the noobs to appear on screen. Where they first appeared, we learned that they think that the boys are a bad influence on Shope and they wanted to transfer her to a different school. Because of this, we learned that they're pretty strict. Though they later learned that the boys aren't so bad after all and they won't transfer her to a different school. Roach's parents. According to the Supernoobs fandom website, her name is Janet. Technically, she's the only parent of the Supernoobs to have a name. So, about Roach's parents. They're pretty rich. And also, both of them are scared of mice according to one episode. This is Kevin's dad. I put him last because it took a while for him to make an on-screen appearance. Mrs. Reynolds, Kevin's mom, did not make an on-screen appearance, though she's been mentioned more than once. As you can see, he does look a bit like Kevin, but if he was older. Before actually appearing in any episodes, which is not until season 2, he did appear in a short. So yeah, it did take a while for him to make an appearance. What we know about him is that he is a watchman. Like I said, Mrs. Reynolds never officially appeared in the show nor has an official design, but this is the closest we can get. This was made by the show's crew, who drew herself next to Mr. Reynolds. Technically, this is an unofficial design of Mrs. Reynolds. In my opinion, it sucks that Mrs. Reynolds never made an on-screen appearance, but she should have. Now I've talked about the other characters, let's talk about the creator. Like I said in the beginning, Scott Phillips is the creator of Supernoobs. He's been involved in the television industry for over 30 years. Before he started creating his own shows, he worked for Nickelodeon as a writer. He also wrote for some Disney shows like Recess and Doug. Yes, there was a Disney's Doug. In 2004, he created Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. And then he created Johnny Test, Big Time Rush, and 100 Things to Do Before High School before creating Supernoobs in 2015. In 2018, he worked for The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle. He also worked for The Fairly Odd Parents too. He also was involved in the Johnny Test reboot for Netflix. Although after the Johnny Test reboot ended in early 2022, he has not worked on anything since. Now let's talk about where are the voice actors now. Tyler's voice actor, Matt Hill. He's still active on social media, but as far as I've seen, I don't really know if he's doing acting anymore. Richard Ian Cox, the guy who voiced Kevin. As far as I'm aware, he has not been active on social media since 2020, so this was 5 years ago. So he might be living his life outside of social media. But who knows, one day he'll come back. Tabitha St. Germain, Shope's voice actress. As far as I'm aware, she does do voice acting, though she's still active on social media. Lee Toker, Roach's voice actor. I don't know if he does acting, but as far as I know, he's still active on social media. Though I know that he came back for his role as Bling Bling Boy for Johnny Test. Michael Adamwythe, I may have said that wrong and I'm sorry if I did, but he's the voice actor behind Zen. As for him, I don't know if he's doing voice acting, but I know he has social media, but his Instagram account is private. And for what reason, I do understand why he privated his account. Yeah, he's probably still doing voice acting or not, I don't know. Bill Mondi, Mem's voice actor. He is still active on social media and posts frequently. Here's something interesting that I would like to add here. From time to time, he will talk about his role as Memblock, as you can see right here. This post has since been taken down, but I'm still gonna add it here. This post discusses more about the lore of Supernoobs. Basically, it confirms their home planet name. It's a shame that this post got taken down, but someone saved it. Also, for those of you wondering, I got this from a Discord server. Now it's time to talk about my thoughts about the show. I've liked the show since the beginning. It all started off one random day when Cartoon Network started airing promos for this show. If you watched the show since the beginning, then you remember the promos that aired during commercial breaks. These promos and commercial breaks always came on from a certain cartoon you were watching. That is how I discovered the show. I discovered it from the promos. If you guys like me remember the date December 7th, 2015, that's the day we got the show in the US. Every weekday, Cartoon Network would air a new episode of the show. And yes, it was one of those shows you watched and then suddenly it disappeared without a word. Then if you live outside of the US, then you also remember this show from promos too. And of course, there's always going to be a promo for something for a show. And sometimes shows just come out of nowhere with no promos. If you live in the US, then you may remember when this show was on Hulu, because I do. The show got renewed for a second season, but the second season never aired in the US. I know it's a bummer, but hey, at least we have YouTube. Of course, if you non-American watchers remember the show airing a second season outside of the US, either it's in Asia or Europe or even Canada where the show was made, let me know in the comments. Okay, as you know, this is a video essay created by a fan of this show. And of course, a fan of a certain cartoon has got to explain what they like about it or what they don't like about it. So it has some pros and cons. I like the animation. It's quite nice. Of course, cartoons from Canada are always animated in Flash. I think some episode plots are really good. I like the character designs, which is why I explained the details of the characters. If you watch the show, then you exactly know why I like this scene. It's the scene where they change into their battle suits. And I just like how Mem and Zen treat the noobs like their family. I just think it's cute. The noobs are really good with each other, they are supportive with each other, and they're safe with each other, which is really nice to see. And now let's get into the cons. Though they are safe with each other, I don't like to see them fight. Oh, please do not get me started on the episode The Noob Cave, for reasons. If you watch the episode, then you'll know exactly why. Sure, I like this show, but there are still not good episodes. And of course, shows you like always have bad episodes. And also, I really don't like how Cartoon Network treated this show. Honestly, if I can go back in time and if I owned Cartoon Network, I would probably treat this show a little better. But that doesn't mean I'm going to give the show a ton of airtime and a ton of marathons like what Cartoon Network did with Teen Titans Go in 2017, if you guys remember that. I will give some reruns to episodes of this show that had aired once in August of 2016. Aired the episodes that ended up on Hulu instead of Cartoon Network. Definitely, Season 2 deserved to air in the US. And if Boomerang could have given a chance of the show if they wanted to, go for it. If you guys remembered, Boomerang did air Canadian cartoons in the past. Before you guys say anything, Teen Titans Go has nothing to do with the show being doomed. It's just Christina Miller, who was in charge of Cartoon Network at the time that was doing this. Same thing for the other Cartoon Network shows that were either canceled or ended. It was the creator's choice. Guys, remember, Teen Titans Go has nothing to do with the show being screwed. It was the Cartoon Network president that was running the channel at the time that was doing it. For this reason, I understood why people didn't like her. What I mean by her, Christina Miller. Yeah, people didn't like her to the point that someone actually ended up vandalizing her article on the Cartoon Network wiki, and the job that someone put was ruin Cartoon Network. Though she has since left. You guys can like or hate what I said about my statement on the 2014 to the 2019 state of Cartoon Network where Christina Miller was the president there. I don't care. Teen Titans Go has nothing to do with the shows being canceled, has nothing to do with the show being screwed. Yeah, that's my statement and that's the end of it. And now that the show is a decade old now, man, I feel so old. I think the show deserves to have a big fandom because you know how shows that were canceled years ago, they get a big fandom? Shows that do get big fandoms were hated shows that were hated during its run. But then suddenly after years the show ended, they get a big fandom. And this is something that I want to see for Supernoobs, which is why I'm making this video. If this video did help the show get a big fandom, then thank you so much. In conclusion, this show is really underrated. It's really funny too. If you don't like this show and if you're okay with people liking it, I understand. Your opinions are valid. Because you see, it's very important to be respectful towards people that like certain things that you don't. If there's toxic haters of this show and act judgmental to the fans of this show and treat it like it's worse than anything, then I don't care. Attention is all they want. I understand that there are certain shows you do not like, but let's not go way too far. I know this show has fans, and I'm one of them. Fans are glad that they found this video because this video was obviously made by a fan. I know that there are people that do remember the show that will find this video or have found this video. So calling all people that remember this show, comment down below. But anyways guys, that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like this video and share. I'll see you guys soon.